Live from our studios on Karaba Avenue, this is the QTV Nightly News and I am Jul Denjai. Thank you for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. As the Holy Festival of Tobaski approaches, we hear about a recurrent and unwanted aspect, namely clashes between shops and impromptu wanted vendors, this time at Serekunda Market. The West Africa Coastal Area Project, WACA, in collaboration with the Gambia's Ministry of Environment, kicked off a 5-day national capacity building workshop to devise nature-based solutions for urban resilience in the Gambia. We hear about a national consultative forum centered on Tesito, the Gambian concept of self-reliance for inspired leadership and sustainable national development. Now today is Africa Day, formerly African Liberation Day, which is commemorated annually on May 25th across Africa and in African diaspora. Now in sports news, following their euphoria over their thrashing of Sierra Leone, the Gambian women's football team have been brought crashing back down to earth after a heavy defeat by neighbor Senegal in the ongoing Wafu A Women's Cup tournament in Mauritania. These and other stories coming ahead, do stay tuned. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, this is the QTV Nightly News. Now, as the Holy Festival of Tobaski approaches, an unholy row has broken out at Serekunda Market. The market was a scene of chaos as shop owners in the market confronted wanted sellers in attempt to stop them selling near their shops. Our reporter Momodu Gajaga went there to speak to those affected, and he now reports.
Serekunda Market is a bustling place where vendors, stall owners and buyers crowd every day. However, it wasn't the case of business as usual earlier this morning, when stall owners attempted to block those selling in front of their stall. In less than 2 weeks before the Tobaski feast, vendors usually crowd the market with pre-sale wares, locally known as wanter. As tensions rose, the Gambia Police Intervention Unit were on the ground to restore calm. These were the reactions of some of the stall owners who sought their displeasure with those who do wanter. Omar Kante, who has a shop in the market selling second-hand goods, explained why he opposes toll-owning unregulated vendors in the market. The authorities should only allow permanent shops to sell here because we pay $625 market tax every month. Let them allocate a place outside the market for them to do their wanter. It is not fair at all for them to put the same goods we are selling in our shops on sale in front of us. They pay only $500 for 10 days. Njoba Konate, a vendor, responds to frequently heard allegations that some wanter sellers are Senegalese and says she has been selling at the market for 8 years now. Also, she says, as someone who sells garments, what she is doing is not wanter.
What is this difference of being a foreigner or a Gambian? They buy their goods from Senegal and sell them here. We buy our goods in this country and sell them here. This issue should be addressed.
Alajimbai is another vendor who is among those doing the pre-Tobaski wanter at the market. If it is about congesting the market, we are not the only ones at fault. I was selling second-hand clothes, but now I am selling here as a vendor. I don't think it's sensible to refer to us as Senegalese, or why that matters. Because if you go to the Dakar market, you will see Gambians selling there. This confrontation was avoided in 2024 after the authorities banned such activities as part of efforts to clear congested roads and pavements. For now, no permanent solution has been found, and we may be reporting on this again, this time next year. Momodu Gajaga, QTV News.
On Monday, the West Africa Coastal Area Project, in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, kicked off a 5-day capacity building workshop to discuss nature-based solutions for urban resilience in the Gambia. Mam Nabuka attended the opening ceremony, and this is her report.
The workshop is designed to strengthen the capacities of key stakeholders, including government agencies, technical experts, and community representatives, to be able to implement and sustain nature-based solutions into urban planning and development processes as part of efforts to combat climate change in the Gambia. The WACA project, funded by the World Bank, aims to enhance the resilience of coastal communities across 9 countries in West Africa. In 2023, Phase 2 of the project was launched in the Gambia under MECNA and is set to run for 5 years. Its primary objective is to assist in the restoration and reprofiling of the Kotu stream to mitigate the risk of flooding. Over the next 5 days, this workshop will prioritize educating the 60 participants in attendance on flood and erosion control amongst many other key topics. Attendees will be coached to develop practical skills and encouraged to share experiences that will assist in the sustainable restoration of the Kotu stream, which will protect more than 200,000 residents from flooding and pollution while fostering ecological and community resilience. This is Dr. Mohamed Lamin Sanyang, the project coordinator of WACA in the Gambia.
It is not only about presentation, we'll have group discussion, brainstorming exercises, and we'll go to the field also. Whatever we learn, we will try to put it into proper context. I hereby implore you all to take this as a golden opportunity to develop and strengthen your understanding of nature-based solutions and its application in your diverse expertise.
Lilian Asok Basesu is the representative of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, which plays a key role in the WACA project.
IUCN stand ready, together with our partners, to support this process, not only by building national capacity, but also by offering technical guidance for on-the-ground implementation and helping to mainstream nature-based solutions into national policies and strategic frameworks.
Mariama Ndaujaju, the director of the Central Project Coordination Unit at MECNA, encourages participants to this initiative.
Let me encourage all of you to fully engage, ask questions, share your experience, challenges, think boldly, because the work we do here does not end when the workshop concludes. It continues in your cities, communities, and institutions. Together, we are laying the groundwork for urban systems that are not only more resilient to today's risks, but are more equitable, inclusive, and in harmony with nature.
The Gambia is the first WACA country to launch the nature-based solution and is set to be a center of excellence and example for similar initiatives that will be raised in other countries. The outcome of this workshop is expected to guide future actions and investments that will be aimed at building a more resilient urban environment in the Gambia. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
On Saturday, the Kairaba Conservation and Leadership Organization, KairaCLO, in collaboration with the University of the Gambia, hosted a national consultative forum centered on Tesito, a Gambian concept of self-reliance for inspired leadership and sustainable national development. Mam Nabuka attended the opening ceremony, and this is her report.
The event took place at the University of the Gambia Law Faculty campus and attracted a diverse group of stakeholders, government officials, university students, and environmental activists, all eager to participate in discussions of how the flora and fauna of the Gambia can be preserved. This forum, leaning on the Tesito concept, which encourages self-reliance, aims to host several plenary sessions focused on localizing Sustainable Development Goal 15, which calls for the protection, restoration, and sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems to combat desertification, land degradation, and biodiversity laws to promote and protect life on land. The initiative is part of the commitments made by the Cairo Clue organization to support the conservation and protection of Gambia's environment through the implementation of the visionary characteristics of the Banjul Declaration, made by former President Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara 50 years ago. This is Almame Fandingtal, the chairman of Cairo Clue.
At the Kairaba Conservation, we thought that we need to build the institutions that are necessary to help us transform, to help us solve some of our problems based on our native intelligence, based on our inheritance, because we consider ourselves the intellectual heirs of Sir Dawda.
Through the Cairo Clue and UTG partnership, a Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara Center for Climate Justice will be established in the university as a tribute to Gambia's founding father and a strategic advancement towards fighting climate change in the country. Dr. Lamin Sise, the Director of Student Affairs and Alumni Advancement at the UTG, spoke on behalf of Vice-Chancellor Professor Herbert Robinson.
Through this partnership, we aspire to cultivate a new generation of climate-literate leaders and to position the Gambia as a regional and global exemplar in climate justice, environmental stewardship, and sustainable development.
Here are Bakari Bunjadabo and Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang, former vice presidents of the Gambia, commending the revitalization of the Tesito concept.
I do hope that your discussions here will go beyond mere reminiscence of the concept of Tesito and to go on to explore the full scope of the meaning as well as to examine its relevance to present-day situation and challenges. I join many in looking forward to the positive outcome that should come from your deliberations.
Whether you are in government or civil society or private sector, we need to join our hands and really look at holistically how we can really promote and continue to champion the philosophies of great people, including Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara.
By the end of the forum, the Cairo Clue organization hopes to gather concrete recommendations that can influence policy decisions to ensure that the country will embrace Tesito as a concept and a key philosophy for national development. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
The report there by Mam Naboka will take us to a commercial break. When we return, we hear about Africa Day, formerly African Liberation Day. We will also hear about the reality check given the Gambia's women footballers by their Senegalese counterparts at the ongoing Wafue Women's Football Tournament in Mauritania. Do stay tuned for these and other stories.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bi bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bi neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bi ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bi ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bi mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Welcome back. This is QTV News, and now to the rest of our stories. African Day, formerly African Liberation Day, is commemorated annually on May 25th across Africa and in African diaspora, marking an important moment in African history and the ongoing struggle for freedom, self-determination, unity and development. As the day is marked as public holiday in the Gambia, Aissatou Bari tells us more.
African Liberation Day dates back to May 25, 1963, when leaders from 32 African nations met in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to form the Organization of African Unity, now known as the African Union. But its roots run even deeper, back to 1958, when Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, convened the first Conference of Independent African States on 15 April 1958, urging unity in the fight against colonial rule. Between 1958 and 1963, the struggle intensified in Africa. 17 countries won their independence, and 1960 was proclaimed the Year of Africa. On the 25th of May 1963, when those heads of state convened a summit meeting to found the Organization of African Unity, they renamed African Freedom Day African Liberation Day and changed its date from April 15 to May 25th. In commemoration of the Addis Ababa meeting. Today, across the continent and beyond, millions commemorate African Liberation Day as a powerful reminder of Africa's long road to freedom, unity, resistance, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of African people. It honors those who fought for independence and reminds us the ongoing struggle for justice, equality, and true liberation economically, politically, and culturally. The challenges may look different, but the mission continues, fighting poverty, ending exploitation, creating jobs, and fostering unity across Africa. African Liberation Day is not just a day of remembrance, but a day to honor freedom fighters who resisted colonial rule and apartheid, promote Pan-Africanism, unity, and solidarity among African nations and people. It allows us to reflect on ongoing challenges, such as economic dependence, political instability, and social injustice, and to encourage youth to take pride in their African identity and contribute to the continent's development. Aissatou Bari, QTV News.
Happy African Day to everyone. Now, during the ongoing first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, a prominent Sierra Leonean lawmaker, Sir Emerson Lamena, made a passionate plea for the demilitarization by Guinea and renewed diplomatic engagement over long-disputed town of Yenga, which is on the border between Sierra Leone and Guinea. QTV's Aliou Cisse is in Abuja and he now reports.
Honorable Sama Emerson Lamina's call is a renewed push for ECOWAS to step up mediation, ensuring Guinea and Sierra Leone resolve the standoff in line with regional peace protocols. Yenga became a flashpoint during Sierra Leone's civil war when in 2001 Guinea forces entered to support anti-rebel efforts. 2.5 decades later, Guinean troops remain stationed there despite several bilateral agreements promising a peaceful handover and attempts by 3 consecutive Sierra Leone presidents to seek dialogue with their Guinean counterparts.
2 things I want to make very clearly. Number 1, Mr. Speaker, if you don't mind, just Google Yenga. If you Google Yenga now, you will see. Makona River is so natural. Makona actually separated us. If you look in the Geneva Convention, Mr. Speaker, I also refer you. Look in the Geneva Convention. Our colonial masters, they use 3 things to actually demarcate boundaries. Number 1, mountains. Number 2, rivers. Number 3, plain areas. It is very clear that the Makoni River, the way it's separated, the boundary between Yanga and Guinea, is so natural. It is our country, it's our land, and it falls within Kala district. And if you look at the franchisements, all the democratization of franchisement, they used to vote under Sierra Leone and not Guinea. So we cannot afford to get confusion with Guinea. They are brothers. We respect them. I will stand on rules of procedure 81 to raise a motion for the demilitarization of Yenga with the help of ECOWAS. With the help of ECOWAS, I stand on Rule 81 for the demilitarization of Yenga. We don't want to see military presence there. Let ECOWAS do that. For us to come together with our brother.
Speaking in French, Fanta Conte, member of Guinea's delegation, expressed disapproval of the accusations of serious aggression and human rights violation leveled at her country by Sierra Leone. While thanking Sierra Leone's delegation for acknowledging the critical role of Guinea in ending the civil war, Honorable Conte said her country continues to pay a high price for the support, particularly as victims of urban incursion in the Jekeko region. Billy J. Tungara, who chaired the session as the fourth deputy speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, said the Parliament remains committed to supporting peaceful resolution of the crisis as he urged both countries to remain calm.
This is a very critical and very sensitive issue because border between two countries, need to be taken care of with caution. And I think we have assured them that we are going to relay this matter to the ECOWAS Commission through the President to make sure that they undertake diplomatic means through dialogue and negotiation to address the issue.
So as we speak, what message do we have for both Guineans and Sierra Leoneans as far as this matter
Well, as far as ECOWAS Parliament is concerned, we want to assure them to keep calm and then stay put and allow the ECOWAS presidency, the commission, to take in due course. And this is what they have cried out for, that they want negotiation, they want diplomatic means. So, and they have cried out loud and clear, and then I assure them that the institution would listen to them and they will do just that.
With Sierra Leone now amplifying its concern on the regional platform, all eyes are on ECOWAS' next move to address this issue. Sierra Leoneans fear that unless action is taken now, what was once part of their country will henceforth become part of neighboring Guinea. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
That report takes us to sports news. Now, the Gambia women's national football team suffered a humiliating 6-0 defeat to neighbor Senegal in their second group game at the Wafu A Women's Cup in Mauritania. Gambia and Guinea battled it out late on Monday to decide who will join Senegal in the semi-finals. Momodu Gajaga has the details.
Jubilation was followed by humiliation in the air for the Gambia as they suffered a disappointing 6-0 defeat to neighbor Senegal on Saturday at the ongoing Wafu Women's Cup competition. This was their second game in Group B. The win sent Senegal through to the semi-finals, while it will need an extraordinary performance by the Gambia against Guinea on Monday to seal the semi-final place. The Gambia started their campaign with a convincing 3-0 victory against Sierra Leone, while Guinea narrowly lost 2-1 to Senegal in their opener. The defeat to Senegal brought the Gambian team's hopes crashing back down to earth after the understandable joy of their victory over Sierra Leone. This is how coach Mariama Sow and player Elaine Guy reacted to the defeat.
They are doing a very good game.
Football can be cruel. We expected to play well prior to the game, but unfortunately, things didn't go out our way. Some of my players didn't shine today, and that is why we suffered this heavy defeat. Our game against Guinea is a must-win one for us, and we will do everything possible to win the game. Today was one of those bad days. We've played better in other matches than we did today. It is true. Senegal are used to defeating us, but not with this heavy scoreline. This game was very easy for them. That was never the case previously.
Guinea's hopes of making it through to the semi-finals are almost certainly over after they lost 3-1 to Sierra Leone in their second group game. The Gambia might only need a draw to qualify depending on the result between Senegal and Sierra Leone. The tournament, which runs from the 18th to the 31st of May 2025, is the first ever women's international football competition to take place in Mauritania and featured 2 groups of 4 teams each. Group A of the competition features host Mauritania plus Mali, Liberia and Guinea-Bissau. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, this is all we have for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. Do join us again at 10 p.m. for another News Bulletin. Thank you for watching.